everyone, and welcome to our very first episode of Spotlight on Success. And I am so excited to welcome Ellie Piper to the show to help us break in this brand new format, of which I'm very excited. So welcome, Ellie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
The topic that you picked today is one that I'm so excited about for my own business, which is how you can put your marketing on autopilot. So for those of you watching, I would love to give you a little bit of background on Ellie before we jump in. So Ellie Piper is known as the six-figure marketing director and helps small business owners grow their businesses by turning napkin notes into marketing plans. That's so cute. I love that. She brings big picture marketing into focus with achievable steps and results, which we all love. We want tangible things we can do. Ellie has effectively and efficiently put her marketing on autopilot, allowing her to grow her business and take Fridays off. And if that doesn't sound good to you, then you may as well turn this off right now. But for me, I'm thrilled. I would love to know how to take Fridays off. So Ellie, please tell us how you became known as the six-figure marketing director.
Well, I've been managing marketing for successful 6- and 7-figure businesses for about a decade now. And I was in the trenches, got a lot of great experience, running everything, nonprofits, educational companies, a lot of different companies. But I realized that small business owners were really struggling and that they didn't know how. They were trying to do it all and they didn't know how. And I saw this because I come from an entrepreneurial family. My parents own a business, many uncles and grandparents and whatever. It's in our blood, I think it's safe to say. And I saw them trying to do everything and go crazy and realized that, well, I had this piece and I knew how to do this. And because coming from my background, I eventually needed to go off on my own. It was probably in the stars from the second I was born. So I started my own creative services company 4 years ago where I was doing marketing for small businesses. And I was in there helping them make things happen. But I found that I couldn't serve everyone who needed my help. There was too many of them, and they really ultimately they were do-it-themselfers at heart, and they wanted to, and so I needed to give them tools so that they could. So I've taken all this experience that I've had and helping grow these businesses and created things that people can then learn and tools that they can go do it themselves and know that they've got a resource, who can help them steer them and get them back in the right direction.
And iron out all the wrinkles that we inevitably hit in marketing. So tell us, can you really automate your marketing? I mean, to me, that's just kind of a fascinating concept.
You can. You definitely can. Any small business can do this. And it starts with, I have a 4-step process to this that I will share with you a little bit later. But everyone can do this, and it's going to make your life so much easier. I'm a big believer that marketing really should be easy and fun, and it's something that you should enjoy, because most likely people start their businesses because they're good at what they do, and they necessarily may not be good at marketing what they do, but they're good at what they do, and there's that core value there. And then they go out and try to get it out, and they feel lost, and they just feel like they're struggling, and they do what I tend to call haphazard marketing, because it's a little bit here, it's a little bit there, and it's all over the place. So by doing this, you have marketing systems in place that are working for you all the time. And you're not working yourself to death, and you're taking advantage of your knowledge and leveraging your time, which is so huge. It allows you to have things like a life, to take Fridays off, which is so key, because as a creative person, I need a little breathing time and I need to just do things for myself. And the weekends are hard, and I don't have children, so I can only imagine when you have children that you don't have a weekend at all. So Fridays are my day just to explore different things, have fun, and there are occasional Fridays that I may work on a project because I choose to, but it's not because I have to. There's so much more than running this business. It's great. We all love it. It's wonderful to be self-employed, but at the end of the day, you need to have a life, really.
Absolutely, and I think that's the goal for most entrepreneurs, is that element of freedom. How does a small business owner get started putting her business on autopilot?
Well, I have developed a 4-step system. It's fairly simple that you use to do this, and it starts with planning. Ultimately, you can't put things on autopilot if you don't know what you're doing. And I talked before a little bit about the haphazard marketing. That was the biggest thing I found as I went into these small business owners and working with these small businesses. They would have started a Twitter account perhaps, or an e-newsletter or a blog, but then they never kept up with it. By taking the time to really answer questions about your business, this planning process allows you to answer some of those big questions so you can act quickly when opportunities arise. So you start making a list of all the tools, I call them tools, that you're using to market your business. So that would be, are you blogging? Do you have an e-newsletter? Are you using social media? Are you doing speaking? Are you offline? Are you doing public relations? Whatever you're doing, what are you doing currently? So you start with that list. And I'm a big list person, so you're going to find there's a lot of lists throughout this process.
That's good.
And then you look at how often you're doing it. What's the current schedule? And you basically start mapping that out on your calendar. If you're just sending out a newsletter when you feel like it, it's time to commit to a schedule. I talk with people and they get nervous, especially with email newsletters, that they're, monthly is enough. And you have to remember, that's only 12 times a year that they're getting something from you. You need to think about how often you're touching them as you're looking at all your tools. And then my probably favorite part, you take a blank piece of paper, go somewhere away from the internet, away from cell phones, away from annoying animals or spouses if you work at your house, and brainstorm and just think about the possibilities and what could you do to grow your business, to try new things. What are those things that you've been thinking about but you haven't actually tried? And so have your brainstorming list, choose a couple, add that to your calendar, and then you essentially have your marketing plan. From there, you need to now look at how you can streamline it. So if you've committed to blogging, for example, I blog 3 times a week. If you've committed to something, a schedule like that, whatever the schedule is, start getting things done ahead of time. How can you look for themes? How can you schedule time? I use Marketing Mondays, where every Monday I spend working on my business. And I don't do client work, and I get things done ahead of time. I film videos, I write blog posts, I brainstorm, I just work on business development activities. So scheduling time in your week, each week, to get the marketing done, but also getting it done ahead of time. And then you move on to the actual automation, where you start using the tools so it's set up for you. I use WordPress on all of our blogs, so I'm able to schedule my blog posts. Hootsuite or Social for any of those schedulers for social media to schedule tweets and Facebook posts. Email programs like MailChimp or Aweber or Constant Contact. Write the content, get that piece, that's the hardest piece. And then schedule it and get it done. And then the last piece is enjoy automation. And so that means get ahead of yourself and stay ahead. On the plane ride home last week, I already knew the theme for my blog I think I've got it for the next year. But I went in and specifically planned out each topic for each blog post and created my editorial calendar for my blog through December. Now, that doesn't mean that you just set it and forget it. You still have to go into things like Twitter, especially social media, and you need to make sure you're commenting and having timely comments and things like that. You can't just leave it alone for 2 months and expect it to do you any good. But at least if you miss it for a day or if you get in, things are still getting out there.
In a nutshell, what you're presenting is get the really big moving parts set up on a schedule and streamlined and systematized for you, and then it's so much easier to go in, as you said, and stay on top of conversations and continue to reach out with your networking on a day-to-day basis without the burden of all the other parts that you have to create. So I love that you presented the fact that you focus on that every Monday and be disciplined about that. That's huge. Ellie, what is the most important thing a small business owner should know before marketing her business?
All about learning about what I call your people, and that is your target market. Marketing is all about people. If we don't have people to market to, we don't really have a business. So it's so critical. And people who have been following me for a while, I probably sound like a broken record, but you have to get to know them better than you know yourself, and you have to know who an ideal target would be, an ideal client. There are times when you've opened an email, or you've read a magazine or ad or something, you've seen something, and it feels like that's for me. They're talking directly to me. It's like they've stepped into and they know all of my experiences. Well, that's what you need to do. You want people to be able to do that for your business, and to be able to say, oh, well, Dr. Reese knows exactly what I need. I've got to get that right now. You want that conviction. Like, what are they, a mind reader? And you have to be a detective and learn about them. And so what I've looked at is, how to connect with the people. And I have a people marketing formula, which is all about learning about your people and then going out and connecting with them. Because once you know who they are and where they are and what they want, connecting with them is so much easier.
The example that you gave, when you read an ad and you think, oh my gosh, they're reading my mind, that's kind of wild. Mm-hmm. There's strategy behind that. That didn't just happen. And you have to look at your business the same way and be strategic about how you're going to speak to the people you're trying to reach, so that they hear you through the clutter that is out there.
It's so much easier to become an expert within a small arena than it is, a larger pond. Start stepping out. I use a technique of, it's ready, fire, aim, instead of the opposite and what we traditionally think, because you've got to try and you've got to see who it connects with, because sometimes it will surprise you, and you have to be open to that. And that's part of this whole, so in the early stages of your business, there's a lot of tweaks and figuring out where things are going to go. But as you get further in, you become committed and you realize where you're going to go, and you keep diving in. But don't let that hold you back. Just put it out there, see how it works, and be open to change.
Exactly. I mean, and for those of you watching, I'm sure the same holds true for you, Ellie, but I am constantly refining my message, based on the feedback that I get from the people I'm working with. And it's a process. You're never quite there.
I like to say, you stop and you start losing opportunities. Mm-hmm. And then you have to start gaining momentum again. So just by using automation, using tools, things like that, you can continue that movement and keep moving forward. So it's not, oh, the last time I emailed was 6 months ago. I wonder why no one's called. That could be why.
I understand that you have a fantastic free resource that I would love to have you share with our audience, that shows them how to turn those, I just love this, those napkin notes into marketing plans.
I have a video series, and it's at napkinnotemarketingplan.com. And it's going to walk you through creating your marketing plan. So it'll be a series of 5 videos that'll walk through the steps of creating your marketing plan. And so that way you have the planning piece done. And from there, it's just all implementation, and then you can start streamlining and automating. But this will help you answer those questions that we were talking about, learn about your target market, things like that, figure out which tools are working.
That information on how you can get a hold of this free video series will be posted for you. And Ellie, I just want to thank you so much for the wealth of information and the step-by-step processes that you shared with us today to really get us on the road to successfully automating our marketing. I think this is so exciting.
Thanks, Shannon. Thanks for having me. I'm so glad that I could just share and talk to a fellow automator.
Trying to be. Thank you for watching, Ellie. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, we wish you huge success in your business. Take care.